Good evening, and welcome to the Joint Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Commissioners meeting of August the 4th, 2026. I am Briggs Simmons, the Planning and Zoning Chairman. Prior to this meeting, announcements were posted and notices were sent to all board members, commissioners, staff, interested parties, and applicants to participate in this meeting. I will now turn the meeting over to Dr. Ramona Jackson-Jones to introduce and confirm the presence of the commissioners. Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Ramona Jackson-Jones, the Chairwoman of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. And certainly I have with me this evening District 4 and Vice Chairman Mark Alvarez.
Present.
We have District 2 Commissioner Whitney Kenner-Jones.
Present.
And District 3 Commissioner Martin Raxton.
Present.
And District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III, I don't believe will be here with us tonight. Board of Commissioners, we do have an established quorum, and so I'll yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also present, we have members of the Planning and Zoning Board. If you would confirm your presence when I call your name. Frank Payne, District 1, our Vice Chair.
Present.
Oric Curry, District 2 Representative.
Present.
Larry Toomey, District 3 Representative.
Present.
Melissa Polk, District 4 Representative.
Present.
Dr. Chris Small, our Douglas County School System Representative.
Present.
Brandon Penniman, our member at large, is excused tonight. We do have a quorum. Okay, Ms. Duncan, our manager of planning and zoning, will now introduce the county staff and planning and zoning staff present. Ms. Duncan.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we have with us our Chief of Staff, Tiffany Stewart Stanley. We have Mary Minter from our County Legal Department. We have Bruce Mercer from our Department of Transportation, Travis McDonald from our Department of Development Services, Austin Cronin is our Zoning Administrator, Melody Glenn is our County Planner, and we are always grateful and appreciative of our Sheriff's deputies and our communications team for being with us as well. At this time, I will read for the record the language from our decorum ordinance in regarding to speaking at public hearings. So when making remarks at the meeting during public comment at either a voting or non-voting meeting of the Board of Commissioners, any person desiring to address the board shall address all comments to the chair or, in the absence of the chair, to the vice chair, and shall not address staff members or the audience, shall avoid making rude, obnoxious, slanderous, impertinent, profane remarks or personal attacks on any member of the board, staff, or general public, shall exit the meeting room quietly if the board meeting is in session, shall refrain from clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks, and shall immediately cease comments when the allotted time for speaking are expired. Thank you.
Thank you. There is a reversionary clause that applies to each rezoning, and that is the applicant, agent, or property owner has 24 months to vest the zoning change after the Board of Commissioners has granted approval. As far as tonight's procedure go, I will conduct the public hearings. Planning and zoning staff will announce each application, followed by a full presentation on that application. The applicant or their representative and members of the public in favor of an application will be able to present their information. They will have 2 minutes per person for an allocated time of 15 minutes to speak on behalf of an application. Members of the public in opposition to an application will also be able to present their information. They will also have 2 minutes per person for an allocated time of 15 minutes to speak in opposition to an application. After the opposition completes their input or the time has elapsed, the public hearing will be officially closed. At this point, the staff will clarify any points of the zoning case. If the staff is unable to satisfy the board's questions, the board will then ask the applicant or the applicant's agents for points of clarification. And this is not a time for them to represent their case. Planning and Zoning Board will then entertain a motion. Excuse me. Our first agenda item tonight is the approval of the minutes of our July 7th, 2026 regular Joint Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Commissioners meeting. Planning and Zoning Board members, after reviewing the minutes, are there any comments, changes, or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval?
This is Melissa Polk. I'd like to make a motion of approval of our minutes meetings for July 7th, 2026 zone meeting.
I have a Motion for approval, do I have a second?
Ford Curry, second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of July 7th, 2026, signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Madam Chairman, the minutes of the July 7th, 2026 meeting comes to you with a unanimous recommendation for approval.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, we've had an opportunity to review the July 7th, 2026 zoning meeting minutes. Are there any questions, revisions, or additions? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 7th, 2026 zoning meeting?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion. All in favor, please indicate by raising right hand. We have a 4-0 vote with no opposition, and the motion carries. And I yield the floor back to you, Chairman Simmons.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Our next agenda item will be one that was deferred from our July 7th meeting. Ms. Duncan, are you going to bring this one?
Yes, sir. If you will bear with me just a moment, it doesn't seem that our screen is projecting correctly. All right. If you'll bear with me just a moment, let me see if I can get our, if you can see if communications can help us with this. I will briefly read out the application, and hopefully we can get our screens working because, again, I have some updated images to show you based on the discussion at our last meeting. So as a reminder, this is a request for rezoning from general commercial to heavy commercial and a special use permit to allow for a convenience store with fuel pumps. This is located at 10603 Veterans Memorial Highway in Lithia Springs in Commission District Number 1. And I will yield the podium to our communications team. All right, so while they are trying to address that, I don't know if you want to take a recess briefly while they're addressing the communications challenges that we have. So,
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure how long it'll take.
again, I would maybe request a 10-minute recess.
10-minute recess?
To give them
Zoning
an
board?
opportunity to address their communications challenges.
We have any objection to a 10-minute recess?
No.
Having none, Madam Chairman, Planning and Zoning has no objection.
All right, thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to go in recess?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We going into a 10-minute recess. All in favor of a recess? Okay, we have a 4 unanimous vote. The motion carries to go into a 10-minute recess for
Thank you.
technical problems.
I apologize.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
okay. Second, all in favor of coming out of recess, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote to come out of recess, and I yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Ms. Duncan, would you
Great.
proceed, please?
Thank you, and I apologize to the boards as well as to the public for that disruption. We now have our technology hopefully working for the remainder of the meeting. As a request, the first item was deferred at the last meeting. This is a request for rezoning from general commercial to heavy commercial and a special use permit to allow for a convenience store with fuel pumps. This is at 10603 Veterans Memorial Highway in Commission District Number 1. The applicant's representative is here tonight. There were several items that you had asked us to revisit after that. So just as a reminder, the image that you see now is an aerial view of the existing building. And then here is the proposed site plan. We've provided a little bit more information based on the discussion at the July meeting. So one of the questions was, how many convenience stores with fuel pumps do we have in the area? And you can see that the applicant has provided us the image there on the screen. So within 1 mile of the proposed location, there are 5 convenience stores, but as they pointed out, they do feel that the subject property of the zoning action differs in multiple ways. So this is a building that can host multiple uses in clearly defined suites. 3/4 of the suites of this building are 3/4 of the other filling stations in proximity are single-use filling stations. The applicant has revised their plan to provide the additional 2,000 square feet of grocery-oriented space. So there was some concern about the availability of fresh food, and we will show you some images in a minute of what they are willing to do. But again, they are willing to revise their plan to make sure that there's at least 2,000 square feet of grocery-oriented space. They are going to include the electric vehicle charging stations. So they are still asking for the fuel pumps at the intersections of Veterans Memorial and South Sweetwater, but they will include the electric vehicle they will include the electric vehicle charging stations in the proposed building to the rear. Part of that is because that is where the parking is located, and my understanding is that you need to be parked for a certain amount of time to be able to charge the battery of an EV. So that is the more sensible location for that. And then finally, the fuel pumps for the subject site will be limited to 2 fuel pumps. So again, what you're seeing here is an existing view of the property as it's situated today. I also wanted to take a moment to kind of use these illustrations to confirm something that I was perhaps not clear about at the last meeting. So what you see today in terms of that existing canopy, that is going away. I know there were some concerns about how close the fuel pumps would be getting to South Sweetwater, right? And so just to kind of clarify as I move forward, you can see the rendering here, but then this illustration, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. This is the building, and you see where they have the orange cross-hashed area there. That's kind of the existing canopy that you see right now from Veterans in South Sweetwater. The purple area is where they're proposing to realign the building and the existing canopy, right? So I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit further. Those 2 fuel pumps are going to be under a canopy that is significantly moved closer in from the road. So I wanted to make sure I just clarify that, because I know that there was some concern about how close they would be getting to the road there, but they are reorienting the site and demolishing some of the existing facility there so that they can move everything in and make sure that they still have the drive aisles for the 2 canopies. Beyond that, again, they are proposing to totally reskin the entire facade of the building, so you will have the existing footprint, but they're proposing to put new architectural finish on the exterior. And again, this is just an example of another rendering showing from a different angle kind of what they're proposing to do. In the bottom corner there, you see how they are proposing to incorporate the additional 2,000 square feet of healthy food options, so more grocery-style options, fresh fruits, vegetables, and fresh prepared meal ingredients and things like that. So again, staff is still recommending approval with the condition for the rezoning and the special use permit. So in addition to the findings that the rezoning would not impair the intent of the comprehensive plan, the use would not impair the Unified Development Code, provided that the existing building is adaptively reused, and the rezoning and use would not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. We are recommending a condition that the site plan and elevation submitted as a part of the zoning application shall be binding to any exterior modification proposed on the site or any modification to the existing structure on the site. Any deviation from the submitted elevations package or the site plan would require re-review and consideration before the Board of Commissioners. The Director of Development Services has discretion to determine if, where in instances of minor modification, the change would not impair the intent or the approval, would not deviate substantially from the elevation package submitted. So again, the applicants are here to answer any additional questions that you would have. But that concludes my presentation, unless there's anything else I can answer at this time. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Duncan. Since we have already had the public hearing on this, we will move to questions. Planning and Zoning Board, do you have any questions of staff or of the applicant?
Yes, I have a question for the applicant.
If you would come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Bridges. My address is 130 East Main Street, Suite 204, Canton, Georgia, 30114. May I answer any questions?
Yes. So we have desperately and always asking for these locations such as what you're proposing to have the fresh food. And so it's exciting to hear that you would provide the fresh food. Can you please just elaborate on that, like, so I can make sure I understand my impression of fresh food that I'm thinking in my head is what you all intend to provide?
Yes, it would be generally just like a small grocery store, that you will have a cheese section, a meat section, a bread section, and fresh fruits and vegetables of that nature that you can select from. So we did expand that one tenant in space to expand it further, the additional 2,000 square feet roughly, to accommodate those needs.
Excellent. So like a little mini market, if
That
you
is
will.
correct,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect. That was my only question. I'm excited about it, so thank you so much
We
for
are
that.
too. We are too,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes. I have no further questions.
Any other questions, Planning and Zoning?
Yes. I think anything that can be done will be an improvement to what we have now. But I understand you plan on opening up some other stores within that area?
Yeah, there's actually several other tenants that would
Right.
be occupying that area, where the majority of the other space is rentable tenant space, as opposed to the convenient aspect and the grocery aspect. So there are additional tenant spaces that would be available for lease or rent, yes.
Do you have anyone interested?
As
at
of
the
right
present?
now, we don't have any letters of interest at this point, but that is being pursued. Again, he's open to anything that is permittable under that zoning. I mean, anything family-oriented and customer-oriented is what he's kind of aiming for in that respect for the available tenant spaces.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Go ahead, Art.
Yes, I have one question. First of all, we want to thank you for adding EV. So I know that saw and some of you is going to look at adding some type of electric vehicle charging stations in that area.
Yes.
We know that with charging, it's going to take some time, so that's going to be very good for the business because people going to have to go in there and probably grab something to eat while they're inside that location. So thank you for looking at that for us EV users.
Yep, and then it'd be able to patron into the other tenant spaces that are
Yes.
there too, definitely, yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, the question that I have, you heard the special permit conditions that were
Yes.
read in the record. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and I'm presuming, I was out at the property yesterday. You're gonna tear that building in the back and all that stuff that's behind the building is coming out?
All that is going to be revamped so that the parking lot will be refinished. The parking spaces will be repainted in that whole entire area. The sidewalk along the rear and the interior and up on the sides, that'll also be redone and refreshed and brand new also.
That's great. It'll look really nice. Thank you very much. At this point in time, Madam Chairman, I'll throw it to the Board of Commissioners for questions you all may have.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman. Any questions, Board? Commissioner Kenner Jones, you have the floor.
I just want to say thank you genuinely for going back and working with the planning and zoning staff and hearing the residents that spoke the last time in terms of taking the health of the citizens of Douglas County seriously and making sure that they do have a fresh food option. I do really appreciate
And
that.
it was definitely a pleasure getting the input from the citizens and also working with planning and zoning. Definitely, always a pleasure.
Madam Chair, you're back.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Kenner Jones. Commissioner Braxton, I saw him.
No,
And
thank
then-
you. Appreciate that. Thank you. So just want to get an idea. I know you said right now other areas in the facility will be open to tenants or additional tenants. What are the types of tenants you're looking to attract to complete the build-out?
He is looking for more family-oriented businesses, possibly a bakery, a flower shop, a coffee shop, something of that. Again, he doesn't have any letters of intent at this point, but that is something that he is pursuing, where we're trying to get that kind of downtown feel with that community-oriented business.
Okay. All right. And then how many jobs are you anticipating creating initially?
Without knowing the exact use of the other tenant spaces, I'm not able to commit to the point of being able to say how many employees and staff would be at hand. But with the convenience store and the grocery store aspect, it will be around the 3 to 4 employees, possibly a little bit more for a higher peak scenario. So I can speak for what I know that we are building out at this point for that portion of the building.
All right. All right, thank you. Madam Chair, you have the floor back.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Braxton. Vice Chairman, you have the floor.
Either you or staff can answer those. How many, remind me, because we've postponed this, but how many parking spaces are you going to be able to have at this facility?
I know we did revamp it some. I would have to look at the site plan. I do apologize. I believe, can you flip over to? Yeah. Sure. I don't want to mess up your PowerPoint.
I don't either, yeah. Sorry to that.
So it would be in the site plan over on the left-hand side. You
Oh, sorry.
got it on my phone if you want.
I would like to see it in a bigger, I don't know that you'll be able to read it.
Okay. Go back one more.
Like this one?
Yeah. No.
Sorry, it might be too small to read on that screen.
Yeah, it is. I believe it's around around 30, I do believe, of what we were able to fit into that area with going to the parking into the rear of the building and then working with the GDOT and having the reverse parking in front of the building.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I greatly appreciate you working with me, but I will be honest, I'm still concerned about those parking spots that close to the Veterans Memorial Highway. That does just draw a concern for me, but thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. Yes, and we have been working with GDOT on that and also with Bruce for County
Okay.
DOT.
Okay, thank you. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Vice Chair. Certainly, I'm impressed with the facade change along that whole corridor. That, I mean,
Yes,
you're
it'll
setting
be
the
a
tone.
really nice uplift to that building.
That's exciting for that area.
Yes.
So, thank you so much. I'll yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. You can have a seat. Planning and zoning, you have heard the discussion. Do I have a motion on the zoning, Z 2026-47?
This is Frank Payne. I recommend approval of Z 2026-47, request for rezoning from general commercial to heavy commercial.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Boyd Curry, second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the request for zoning Z 2026-47, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Madam Chairman, the Z 2026-47 comes to the board with a unanimous recommendation for approval.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. And unfortunately, I didn't get any feedback from the district commissioner, so I'm going to assume that we're all on the same page. But I would make a motion to approve agenda item Z 2026-47
Okay. Do we have a
with the
second?
condition as read in by.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion, board? You look like you want to say something.
Just clarify that Commissioner Mitchell did express to me that he was not going to be able to be here tonight, but he was agreeable to all of the changes that were made, and so he did feel that he would support approval of this project. And he did give me permission to speak for him in that regard. So,
Thank you.
but thank you. And also one more clarification, the condition is actually on the special use permit, not on the rezoning. So the condition would be on the special use permit at such a time as a vote is taken on that. Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We've just had discussion. Any other discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a full unanimous vote and the motion carries. We yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Planning and Zoning Board, do I have a motion on the special use permit S 2026-48?
This is Melissa Polk. I'd like to make a motion for approval on agenda item S 2026-48 with said conditions.
I have a motion with, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Planning and Zoning Board, all in favor of approving S 2026-48 with a condition, please signify by raising your hand. Again, that's unanimous. Madam Chairman, the S 2026-48 comes to the board with unanimous recommendation for approval with the condition that was read in.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve agenda item S 2026-48 with the conditions as read and by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries with no opposition. And I yield the floor back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Best of luck to you. I'm looking forward to seeing that when it's finished. Our next agenda item, please, Mr. Cronin.
Yes, sir. And good evening, boards. So, let's see. So our next agenda item is item number Z2026-46. This is a request for a rezoning from residential low density to RA, and residential agricultural to LI, light industrial, for a warehousing and logistics center located at 2240, 2290, and 2340 Strawn Road. The lot is 18.3 acres, and this is in Commission District Number 4. The site's outside of the Kemp Industrial Park, which is Jason Industrial Parkway, and proposed within the boundary of the current Winston Farm subdivision. The proposed site incorporates an existing single-family detached home site, but is otherwise vacant and wooded. The applicant is proposing construction of 4 warehouse buildings. Access is proposed off of Jason Industrial Parkway with an interparcel access agreement with 2625 Jason Industrial Parkway. I'll show you all in a second. It'll make more sense with an aerial and a site plan. 3 warehouse buildings are proposed. Oh, sorry. It should say 3 warehouse buildings. 2 42,000 square foot buildings, 1 15,000 square foot building. Total square footage is 99,000 square foot. The applicant appeared in 2024 before the Board of Commissioners and was denied for a similar request. The site's adjacent but not a part of the Kemp Industrial Park. An extension of the Kemp Industrial Park is not compatible with the comprehensive plan. A redevelopment of the existing industrial park with an overall development plan to manage infrastructure development as well as to mitigate offsite impacts is more appropriate than a piecemeal approach of expansion of industrial uses outside of well-defined footprints, and the site serves as an informal buffer between the Kemp Industrial Park and the Winston Farms neighborhood along Strawn Road. So as you can see from the site aerial, it's 3 sites together. The applicant is proposing, and we can only orient this this way because it was so long, but access off adjacent Industrial Parkway with 3 buildings, 99,000 square foot in total. Staff's recommending denial of the rezoning request based upon the following findings. Number 1, the granting of the proposed rezoning will modify the intent, purpose, or spirit of the comprehensive plan. Number 2, the granting of the proposed rezoning will adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. And number 3, the granting of the proposed rezoning would create conditions where expansion of industrial or commercial uses outside of originally envisioned or defined boundaries is permissible within the Winston area instead of containment within well-defined footprints. If the Board of Commissioners is inclined to approve, staff is recommending the following conditions. Number 1, the subject parcels that comprise the site shall be combined with 2625 Jason Industrial Parkway through a revised final plat for the original Kemp Industrial Park subdivision. Number 2, the square footage of any building shall not exceed 50,000 square feet without additional special use permits. Number 3, lights shall be shielded and directed toward the property and away from Strawn Road right-of-way with no spillover effect. A photometric plan shall be submitted at building permit to ensure all reasonable efforts are made to provide for downcast, unobtrusive lighting. Number 4, there shall be a 50-foot buffer along Strawn Road that shall remain undisturbed. In the event of thinning through natural causes of the buffer, the applicant shall remediate and plant back according to an identified tree count within the 50-foot incompatible use buffer to the north and the 50-foot buffer where abutting Strawn Road, included in a larger tree survey as a part of the land disturbance permit. Number 5, the exterior elevation shall consist of 50% masonry on all sides. Number 6, parking shall not be adjacent to Strawn Road and shall be located interior to the site. And number 7, the property shall not be used as a data center. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cronin. If you would have a seat, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone, including the applicant or the applicant's representative wishing to speak in favor of this, please approach the podium. You have 2 minutes per person for a total allocated time of 15 minutes to speak in favor. If you would state your name and address for the record, and then you get your 2 minutes.
Mason Marsteller, 57 Camden Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30319. I would ask, we sent a different plan to the staff that contemplated our landscaping plan along with architectural renderings that I would like to see if that's included in the presentation here, because it's an important piece that I'd like to note. Okay. I'd like to pull up the site plan because the one thing that I'd really like to contemplate here, because I know a lot of concerns when talking to residents at the public hearing, is There's obviously truck traffic and freight flow and just additional traffic in general going along Strawn Road. We tried to account for that, or we did account for that, because we used to be the owner of 265 Jason Industrial, which is to the bottom left part of that layout right here. Everything will flow through Jason Industrial, which Jason Industrial already has 18 buildings that total to about 330,000 feet. That does not include the data center that was approved earlier this year. So in our opinion, in terms of trying to mitigate traffic, which again, we know is a large concern, that does that by the access points through 2625 Jason Industrial, in which we do have an access easement that we're happy to record as a covenant, or however it is legally platted with the county. I'm not sure technically the terms for it. But I guess the biggest thing that I would like to point out in terms of these three buildings in general is we understand that there's been a lot of warehousing uses, business parks, et cetera, in Douglas County. I'm primarily a broker that focuses in the area. I focus from Fulton Industrial all the way to Villa Rica, Georgia, so I follow these types of hearings as well as rezonings. I would ask that if you look at all the rezonings that have happened over the past several years, I don't or really can't account for one that contemplates buildings of this size or small in nature that try to, I would say, very much appeal to the small business environment, because everything in our world is either 100 to 150,000 square feet and up. That's what developers like to build. It's very rare that you find a site where it makes sense to build these smaller business park type settings, in which we feel like it is very, very largely needed for a variety of different reasons. But if you look at this in terms of just the off-site impacts, infrastructure, utilities, et cetera, there is nothing mentioned inside the report that states that it is a burdensome to the community. Not in the fire, not in sheriff, not in utilities, nothing is mentioned in that nature. I would also say that the one thing that I am largely just very confused by in the report itself is the future land use contemplates workplace business
That's your
center.
2 minutes.
I mean,
If you stand by, I'm sure we'll have some questions later. Name and address in 2 minutes, sir.
I will. George Sconyers, 2290 Strong Road. I own that property there that abuts Jason Industrial Parkway. I bought that 10 acres as a place where it would be a safe haven and quiet, and I could raise, my grandkids and things. And now with the data center there and the noise coming off, don't know what the impact's going to be from it less than a half a mile from my house. Number one, I feel like the value residentially has been hurt with the data center being there. A lot of people, if they know there's a data center there, they're not going to buy my 10 acres when I get ready to sell. Number two, I just feel like that with the industrial noise when I bought, was not really aware of the industrial noise right there by my house, midnight and all, and I know my neighbors was going to get up and say they don't want to do it. But I'm sitting right there with abutting that industrial park and get woken up several times a night through industrial noise, time and time again. My mother used to live with me. She's 90, and she's no longer living there because she would wake up all night long. There's a lot of noise there, and I look at it as, I'm not a buffer. That property's not a buffer for anything because I catch all the noise that comes off of it. I feel like I would ask you to consider that residentially, my value has been hurt.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor?
Oh, in favor?
Yes. Name and address in 2 minutes, sir.
All right. Cooper Flood, 3950 Meriwether Woods. Mason was touching on this earlier, but I'm helping Mason with this development, and my background's in construction, and so a lot of the work that we do on the front end is making sure that the future land use map matches what we're proposing, because we're trying to help small businesses, as he said. We're not here to we're here to make some money, but we're not ultimately here to hurt the people around us. So one of the things I wanted to point out was that the future land use map shows this as workplace center, which is within this use here is within that explanation of workplace center. So before we started doing anything on this, we made sure that it matched what was planned in the future land use map. And then Mason touched on this earlier, but we do plan on having a landscape buffer around the full outside of the back side of those buildings. Again, to just create more of a sound buffer, if you will. We also talked with the citizens about adding some landscaping in there to help with the beautification of that area, because we understand, you don't want to be looking at these warehouses. We'd hate to have a residential group come in here and clear all those trees and open up that visual of all the warehouses that are there. So we're trying to help keep that buffer, if not improve it. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Okay, I'll close the public hearing in favor and open the public hearing in opposition. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition, please approach the podium. Have 2 minutes per person for an allocated time of 15 minutes. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Joyce West, and I'm the owner of the place directly across from the 2390 tract of land that is up for rezoning. My place it faces me. And with God's help, my husband Larry and I were able to buy 5 acres on Strong Road.
Excuse me, ma'am, I apologize. Could you adjust your mic?
And with God's help, we built a house on the 5 acres.
There you go.
When we moved into the house in 1998, Strawn Road was a safe road to walk up and down. Now, Strawn Road has become a cut-through road and is no longer safe. Drivers come up the hill from Old Mountain Top Church. Once they top the hill, they speed. It's become a racetrack for drivers. There are 2 dangerous curves, one at 2390 that is up for rezoning, and the other at 2244 and 2340. I have almost been killed by speeding drivers in both of the curves, plus recreational vehicles race up and down the road. The sides of our narrow road, gravel road, rarely get bush hogged, which makes it more difficult to see a vehicle coming around the dangerous curves. It doesn't make any business sense to want to rezone these tracts of land in our residential neighborhood, so this individual can make money by reselling the land at a higher price and cause our property to lose value and put more traffic on our narrow gravel road and ruin our residential neighborhood. Also, those woods are a natural habitat for the deer, the buzzard, everything. And this is going to ruin our neighborhood. I don't believe that he's going to put that to go out on Jason Industrial. I rode up and down Jason Industrial, and I don't see an opening for him to do that.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address in 2 minutes.
I'm Brittany Gabriel. I'm here on behalf of my parents who live at 2474 Man Road. My mother is also partial owner of property that backs up to the data center that was approved. So my concerns are, I have spent the last year with trail cameras documenting the animals that are coming down to the creek. I've also taken water samples to make sure that whatever's going on up at the top of the mountain is not going to leak down through all of the many, many underground springs that come off of that mountain and run into our creek. It's a major concern of mine. Not to mention, I understand in the thing that they said it would not be approved for data centers. Now, does that include battery storage centers? Because from what I'm understanding, Georgia Power has a plan when they can write contracts again in 2030 to expand a substation up on that mountain. So the 45 acres that backs up to that data center, we've already had proposals of people wanting to put battery storage centers there to store power. Now, is that going to be part of being a data center, or is that something completely separate than a data center? Because that could cause runoff and things of that nature also. Sound, light, all of that kind of pollution. And this can affect people's bodies in negative ways, not to mention the wildlife in the area or the water quality. I grew up 40 years on that property, and I don't want to see it go completely industrial on the backside of that mountain. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address for the record in 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Randall Stauffer. I live at 2371 Strawn Road. I wanted to begin by thanking everybody for their time. I submitted written comments describing conditions that we already experience around the industrial area, some observations on cumulative impacts, how a single development may project and mitigate individually, but when placed into the greater whole, the anticipated, unexpected, and uncontrollable collectively show and are felt compounded by the surrounding community. There's been substantial change in the past 5 years near our gravel road, with additional projects proposed or underway throughout the surrounding area. This proposal extends beyond the existing industrial boundary. It incorporates an occupied residence and land that provides separation between incompatible uses. It's moving the boundary of change from nearby to within. I don't oppose economic development. I don't question the applicant's intentions. My concerns are whether approving this rezoning would move the historically rural corridor toward a pattern of development that may become increasingly difficult to reconcile with the area's mountain-like terrain, infrastructure, and surrounding residential community. For those reasons, I respectfully ask you to support staff recommendation and deny this rezoning. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments, sir. We appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address in 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Alexandria Ernest. I also live at 2371 Strawn Road. One of my bigger concerns is more about safety. Even though the access isn't directly on our road, the impact is. You know, so the buildings and the parking lots, everything kind of butting up against our road. Our road doesn't have any of the infrastructure to keep us safe. So recently there was a fire that actually was across the railroad tracks and came to our neighbor's property, nearly touched our property. I'm sorry, it makes me emotional. They had to, fire the department had to send out their tank trucks to put it out. And it was just really concerning to me that we're gonna, you know, have this potential thing there, and so I gotta collect myself. And there's not anything there to keep us safe. And so I would greatly appreciate that consideration when considering a request like this and understanding what their intentions are and what they're working towards. But ultimately, I just don't want something bad to happen because we didn't take all the safety considerations there in keeping us safe as citizens. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address in 2 minutes.
My name is Jeremy Stauffer. I live at 2710 Man Road, Winston, Georgia. I live on the adjacent property. My father owns a property that is directly across these warehouses. My brother and his wife live there. They're building a wonderful family. Strawn Road is known to be an incredible rural community, just beautiful, and everybody understands how precious and how careful we need to preserve this area. There's just so much that has just gone into consideration of this warehouse that is just going to just put this fragile part of this community in jeopardy. And I really want y'all to really consider what the staff recommendation is, that the denial of this is really what is in favor of what these people, and I believe is what is best for building community, family, and keeping people wanting to stay in this area. I mean, if you had a house that was residential and rezoned right next to you to industrial, why would you want to stay and build a legacy there? Something that you showed to your family growing up, like, this is where we saw these beautiful, wonderful things and built these. Like, there's a garden we had, and who knows what's going to be happening into the area around it. Lights, all this other nonsense going on. It's not something that I would want to build a family on in the area. And it's just a shame that it's going to be taken from us if this gets built. There's so many concerns of the boundaries just not really even being enough. I mean, just seeing how they're saying they're going to be protecting it, I just look at that, I'm like, man, that is just kids living there, you know, raising up and like, there used to be something beautiful here. Used to, really. I mean, really think about it. But I would appreciate if y'all really considered the denial of the request. This means a lot to everybody who's on this road, and we just appreciate everything y'all do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one moving, I will close the public hearing on this matter. Planning and Zoning Board, do you have any questions of the applicant or of staff? I have a question for the applicant. If you could come back up just for a moment. When the presentation was made, there were conditions read into the record should this be approved. Are you in agreement with those conditions?
Well, if you could pull the conditions back up, I'm happy to go through them. Number one, that's not feasible for us to do right now because we have an access easement. We don't own 2625 Jason Industrial at this point. So that's I don't think that's legally possible from a real estate title standpoint to be able to do that. But we can absolutely implement the access easement as far as number one.
Okay.
Number two, that's fine. More than happy to not build over 50,000 square feet. Number three, that is totally fine to shield lights away from the actual property or the residents on the other side. We did ask for a variance for number four. At the end of the day, these sites or these projects that we try to do are more so site projects than construction projects. You have to make the site balance at the end of the day, and you have to be able to use dirt to do that. We're not asking to completely do away with the 50-foot buffer. We are asking for it to be reduced to 25 feet, in which it would be a 25-foot undisturbed buffer and then 25-foot landscaping buffer, which we would replant trees all along. And that would be shown in our landscaping plan in which we asked for that to be in the presentation. 5, all sides 50% masonry. That's totally fine. We're actually even asking to potentially, or not asking, we might even build brick on all 4 sides here. That's something that we've been contemplating before. It's actually largely consistent with what a lot of developers do. Number 6, we will try to work with everyone as much as we can as far as parking directly along Strawn Road. In our opinion, there's nothing in the code that says we cannot do that. There's really no other areas to put the parking. The reason that we're doing, is there any way to go back to the site plan? The reason that we're building these buildings in an orientation of what we called front load buildings is because the docks would be shielded away from the residents. So as trucks would back in and there would be truck flow, it would go all the way in which it would back into the dock doors and pull immediately out and go back along Jason Industrial. That is the point that I would like to point out. There's really, unless we did these buildings where they would be considered rear load configurations in which dock doors would face towards the residents, that's the only way for us to change up the parking. So we're asking for the parking to be, I guess, a variance or to work with us as far as parking directly along Strawn Road, since there would still be the undisturbed buffer. And then 7, this has never been contemplated as a data center site. We don't know where this came from. We were told that we would be asked questions related to it by staff in terms of data centers. We have no aspect or intention of using this as a data center site. No interest for that.
Okay. Thank you. I'll take those under consideration.
Thank you.
Any questions, Planning and Zoning Board now?
I have a question to the applicant. Because he brought something up. So you said the trucks will be able to back in, but we all know how truckers do. They get there. What would be your operational time? What would be your hours of operation at this warehouse if it was approved?
I would say typically, we refer to the county in terms of y'all's guidelines or restrictions as far as if it's 24/7. I would say typically in terms of the businesses that would operate out of it, it would probably be somewhere around 8 to 5, 7 to 5. Most people in the logistics industry are early risers.
Okay. Will you have on-site parking on that for those trucks that might need?
No, there will be no trailer storage on site.
Okay. No further question.
Anything else, Planning and Zoning Board? Hearing none, Madam Chairman, Board of Commissioners, for questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chair, you have the floor.
Okay, this is going for the applicant. Why can you not change up your configuration to keep with the 50-foot buffer?
We're trying to make the site balance. I mean, it's really having to do with site conditions. In order to make the site balance as far as from a grading standpoint, in order to not be able to haul in dirt or haul off dirt, which would be more freight traffic in the area, I mean, we're asking for that to be disturbed.
Yeah, but my concern with that is looking at that site plan, reducing the buffer and then just adding some landscaping. It's still going to be a view to these residents. I mean, you're taking away an additional 25 feet and then you're going to add a landscape buffer. That's just hard for me to understand, especially if I lived across from it. And two, my other concern is the parking. Could you not change the configuration so that if they wake up in the morning, go out on the porch to have a cup of coffee, they're not looking at people parking their cars and everything right across from them? Because this is a residential area.
Can I touch on that?
Yes, please.
So from the landscaping, the trees that are there are not evergreen trees. So if we were to leave that 50-foot buffer or not, you're going to end up being able to see through that foliage pretty well. So our landscape buffer actually takes into the county standards, and we would have most likely arborvitae, which is an evergreen tree that grows pretty tall. I mean, you see it as a natural landscaping buffer in highways, behind businesses. That type of landscaping buffer is pretty common. So we would actually be, in fact, screening it, in my opinion, and our landscape architect's opinion as well, you'd get a stronger buffer with that landscape strip rather than just having your pines, your poplar trees, all of those. And then as far as the parking, as Mason mentioned earlier, we're happy to work on this site plan to make it more accommodating. In fact, the parking that you see in between the two smaller buildings, that's more of a visual representation just to show what we're capable of doing. Most of those employees are going to park to the front because we've got those offices actually sitting right where the dock doors are. So we're happy to work on that. This right now is just using the site as much as we can. The parking is dictated by the amount of employees that are in the space. We anticipate, an occupancy load of, say it's about 10, 15 employees per building. So we just need to make sure we hit those parking counts. And that's another thing that we can work with the team and talk about having a variance for a certain amount of parking stalls, but we also want to make sure that the businesses have the proper amount of parking for their employees. But the parking strip that you see at the big plan, the big strip of parking that you see at the bigger building, we can absolutely reduce that. Again, the parking in between the two buildings, we can reduce that. We actually originally had a plan for a larger building on the plan right, where you see that strip that faces probably the most part of Strawn Road. We actually reduced that building size because we don't see the need for these large buildings. Again, as Mason touched on earlier, we had a group up here last hearing, Red Rock Carpet, that wanted to take that building. So we had a larger building placed there. So we've actually reduced that. And to touch on his point about the balancing of site work, in a more simple term, it's you got to make sure that the dirt that's on site, you can flatten it out to make these pancake pads for those buildings. And so a lot of the dirt actually sits on the top side of that site because you've got a creek that's on the bottom side. One of the citizens mentioned, runoff and things like that. We've done a wetland delineation study to make sure that we're not impacting the stream buffers. We've done an environmental phase 1 test to make sure that we don't have any problems on the site and neighboring sites, which shows that the neighboring buildings haven't been a problem for environmental. So we're taking all the proper precautions there as well. So sorry, I answered probably, or went further past your question, but yes, in short, we're happy to help you guys with lighter parking, and in fact, I think our landscaping buffer will prove better than what's there now.
Okay. Do you have any idea of what type of clients or any current clients that are potentially looking at that if you was to build it?
They're still the same group that we were talking to last time. A rug manufacturer for the private aviation industry. I mean, probably to be very flat out honest with you, one would probably be a subcontractor that's working on that large data center project, the Stream project right there. It's going to cater towards, I mean, I would say contractors for the area. I mean, it's a big one that we would try to target. They're large proponents in terms of leasing space right now. just with the nature of the build-out happening all over Georgia. So local contractors to the area, wholesalers. I mean, that building at Jason Industrial 2625, I mean, we had a medical device distributor, an engraving company, a gutter subcontractor, a home builder. Those are all the types of groups that we would cater to.
Okay. Yeah, I know the data center keeps popping up, but it is, on around the corner from here. But this is going to be right across the street from residential homes. That's just a concern for me. But, I believe that was the only two that I have for you. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you very much. You can have a seat. Planning and Zoning Board, you've heard the discussion on Z 2026-46. Do I have a recommendation on the motion, please?
This is Melissa Polk. I'd like to make a motion to deny Z 2026-46.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the denial of Z 2026-46, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. All opposed? It's unanimous. Madam,
It's cold.
yes, it's cold in here. Z 2026-46 comes to the board with a unanimous recommendation for denial.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons, as I thaw out. Okay, Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to deny Z 2026-46.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? Okay. Okay. All in favor of a denial, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a full unanimous vote and the motion carries for denial. I yield the floor back to you, Chairman Simmons.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Our next agenda item, Mr. Cronin, you again.
Yes, sir.
Yours again.
Yes. So our next agenda item is S2026-56. This is a request for a special use permit to allow short-term rental at 6123 Lancelot Lane. The lot size is 0.35 acres. This is in Commission District Number 3. A single-family detached home sited within the Ivy Green neighborhood and subject to a homeowners association that may or may not be defunct. The applicant's proposing short-term rental without modification of the single-family detached structure already cited. Short-term rental is not meant to change the primary nature of the lot for single-family detached residential uses, provided that the nature of the short-term rental remains accessory and not obtrusive, does not generate off-site impacts, and is not immediately identifiable from the exterior of the home. The integrity of the principal use will not change. We've attached a site aerial, and staff is recommending approval of the special use permit based upon the following findings. Number one, the use will not modify the intent, purpose, or spirit of the Unified Development Code. And number two, the use will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. And that concludes my presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cronin. At this point in time, I'll open the public hearing on this matter. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application, please approach the podium. You have 2 minutes per person for allocated time of 15 minutes. Okay, is are y'all the applicant? No?
The request was for anybody in favor, including the applicant. So if the applicant is here, this would be the appropriate time for them to come speak to their application.
Okay, no one wishes to speak in favor. Is the applicant present? Okay. No one wishing to speak in favor, I'll close the public hearing in favor and open the public hearing in opposition. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Please approach the podium. You have 2 minutes per person for allocated time of 15 minutes. If you would state your name and address for the record, and
My
then
name is
2
Maria,
minutes.
Oh, sorry. Maria Berry. I live at 4850 Camelot Drive, Douglasville, Georgia. I'm raising my family in this neighborhood. We've got a lot of older people in this neighborhood. We have a lot of renters. It's just about safety for the kids and the older people, and I don't think this is a good idea at this point in time. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address. Just pull the microphone down there. There you go.
Trying to say.
Name and address.
My name is Beverly Johnson. I'm at 4749 Camelot Drive, which is right around the corner from Lancelot. I feel that short-term, to me, means potential of Airbnb. I also feel that we've had renters before. We have a lot of renters out there. We've never had a zoning sign in front of it. If you're not going to use it for something else, why do you need a zoning sign? If you're going to rent it out to rent it out to somebody, I've never seen a zoning sign. Maybe I'm naive, but I've never seen a zoning sign in front of a rental place for somebody coming to live there at Ivy Green. So I don't feel that it'll be appropriate, because if you rent it to someone that has the intention to use it for something else, then it's going to cause a lot of parking problems, getting in and out of the subdivision, cars, because it's a curve that they go around to get out. So that curve is already dangerous if you got a car parked on the side. So you can't really see coming up over that hill. You got to drive really slow. And if there's a car parked there, you got to wait to see if anything's coming. So, and like the young lady said, you got a lot of elderly. I've been living there since the place was built in 2004. And it's a nice, quiet neighborhood. And we don't need extra traffic coming in and out of the subdivision. You're going to rent it. But short term is just not necessary to me. That's what
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Name and address in 2 minutes, please.
My name is Loretta McCain. I'm 80 years old. I live at 6021 Crossbow Lane, around the corner from this position, this proposal. I'm definitely in denial of it. I don't want it. We have, as stated before, a very quiet subdivision. We have renters in there, but they're very quiet renters because they try to keep the property up. I am an owner. I do not want the extra noise, because you never know who's going to be in there. It could be somebody who's there for 2 minutes, and it could be somebody throwing parties. We don't want any of that in our neighborhood. We have children who are getting off the bus. It's going to be late. The time change is coming again, and we need to make sure that they can get off the bus safely and not wonder who that is on the corner, you know. So that's my thing, and I know other people who are here but can't speak. They are denial, and they live next door to it. So they don't want it either. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Good evening.
Good evening. Name and address, please.
Alice Gay, 6011 Crossbow Lane. My husband and I have proudly owned a home in that subdivision for 21 years. And I'm here today to ask you to protect our neighborhood by not allowing short-term rentals such as Airbnb properties in our subdivision. When we chose to live here, we invested in a residential community where neighbors know one another, families feel safe, and homeowners take pride in maintaining their properties. Short-term rentals can change that by creating a revolving door of visitors, increased traffic, parking issues, noise, and uncertainty about who is in our neighborhood from week to week. This is not about opposing tourism or responsible property owners. It is about preserving the character, stability, safety of the community that numerous families have invested in for years. For more than 2 decades, I have called this neighborhood home, and I respectfully ask that you stand with the residents who live here every day and protect our subdivision by not allowing Airbnb and other short-term rental businesses to operate here. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Name and address in 2 minutes.
My name is Annie Stevens. I live at 4720 Camelot Drive.
I can see the back of their house from my front yard. So I live in a quiet neighborhood. We moved here in 2004, and it's quiet. It's not a lot of traffic, and it's not a lot of parties, everything, and I would like to keep it that way.
Thank you for your comments. Next. Name and address in 2 minutes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Fagbamie. I live in 5967 Round Table Court. I'm one of the newest residents in that subdivision. My wife and I and my kids moved there from Villa Rica after living in Villa Rica for 28 years. I have something written down. I'm not going to even read it because everybody has said a lot about what their opinion and feelings are. And my opinion and feeling is the same. Like one of the ladies said, coming up or going down where that property is located, the house before it, the people tend to park on the street. And you don't get to see around it as you're coming up or as you're going down. I don't even believe the owner lives there because I walked by that property many times. Nobody lives there. We do not need Airbnb or any of that in that neighborhood. We moved in there because it was very quiet, and we like to keep it that way. And I know I'm not the only one that feel that way. It's going to drive the property down, it might create noise, and who knows what else. Some of you know we have a situation everywhere. A couple of weeks ago, somebody got stabbed almost across the street. It's not the fault of this owner of this house. Situation happens. It was in the news, and unfortunately, that young man did not survive that stabbing. We don't want situation like that. Nobody wants it in their backyard. Everybody always say, not in my backyard. We don't want it in our backyard. Please, respectfully, I ask you guys to deny this application. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, sir. We appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Yes, my name is Molly Mason. My address is 4679 Camelot Drive. I am the original owner of my residence. I watched my house be built. It was an empty lot. So I've watched the 126 houses that are there. And I just want to piggyback on all of my neighbors in agreement that we don't want short-term rental there for safety reasons, for parking, for safety reasons, for we don't know who's coming in and out on that short-term rental. So we'd just like for you all to give that some consideration, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments also. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one moving at this point in time, I'll close the public hearing on this matter. Planning and Zoning Board, you've heard the discussion.
Yes,
Do you have any questions of the applicant or staff?
Yeah. Okay, he's getting ready to come up. Could I have the applicant come up, please?
No, he's.
All right.
Hello, my name is Ashton Gidere. I'm the one who lives in 6123.
If you'd speak into the microphone, pull it up.
My name is Ashton Gidere. I'm the one who lives in 6123 Lancelot Lane.
Okay, hold on. I'll ask questions. I'm just glad you clarified who you are because you did not come up and state in the beginning as being the applicant.
Yeah.
So, I have a few questions to ask you. You heard the concerns of your neighbors that surround you. The one question I have you lived in that house?
I always live there.
So you lived in that house?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Next question is this area in an HOA community?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So have you talked to the HOA president or members about doing a short-term rental in that community?
Not.
Third question, have you talked to the residents on the left and the right, the front of you, that you were going to do a short-term rental?
I have.
Okay. So they brought up some concerns about parking on the street. So have you been having an Airbnb there already?
No, sir.
So this is the first time that you have come before the board, or did you get a notice stating that you were doing a short-term rental and you need to come in and get a permit?
This is the first time we're trying to get a permit.
Okay, so it's your first time trying to get a
Yes,
permit.
sir.
So how many rooms does this house?
The house has 6 rooms.
Okay. Bathrooms?
3.
Okay. So you've heard their concerns.
Yes, sir.
And I said that you have talked to the neighbors. That was what. Could you kind of explain to us what did your neighbors that were adjacent or in front of you?
My neighbors, the ones I've talked to, I told them that the property that
Could you speak up? Could you pull the mic up so we can hear you?
the neighbors that I've talked to, their concerns were similar, and I told them that it's not gonna be an Airbnb. Pretty much, we want to do professional only. We're not looking to do Airbnb type. We're just trying to get professionals.
So in clarifying professionals, what do you mean by?
Nurses, traveling nurses.
Say again?
Traveling nurses.
Traveling nurses?
Yeah,
Okay,
and doctors.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will be staying in the property.
So you'll be staying at the property
Yes,
as well?
I will be staying
while
at the property.
the traveling nurses?
Yes.
Does this house have a basement?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's what I'll be using.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Any other questions, planning and zoning? Go ahead,
Yes.
Nuz.
Hi. I have a couple of questions for you, the applicant. You had stated that it's a 6-bedroom, 3-bath home, and you had stated that you're going to extend this out to professionals such as traveling nurses and things of that nature. Of these 6 bedrooms, you are anticipating and renting or making available 5 of the bedrooms?
2 of the rooms downstairs. One will be a sitting room and one will be a bedroom.
So of the 6 bedrooms, you're only wanting to rent out, or short-term, 2 bedrooms?
Yes.
So that would add, how many vehicles do you own since you reside there?
I own 1 vehicle.
And then you could possibly have 3 vehicles there?
4.
4. You will have 4 vehicles in total. That property, can it accommodate those 4 vehicles in the driveway alone?
Just for the clients that will be there, it will be affordable to accommodate 4.
So just so I understand what your response is that of the 4 cars that you would say, all 4 of those vehicles are going to fit in that driveway at any time?
Yes.
Okay. And then my other question to you is that you state that you live at this residence?
Yes, I do.
How long have you lived there?
I've been here since 2024.
So you've lived in that home since
Yes.
2024?
Yes.
Okay. And I had one other question. So you had kind of decided what type of clients that you're going to have there. And in these clients of those 2 bedrooms, are there only going to be 1 person per bedroom, or how does that work? So I'm trying to
It
see how
could-
many persons you'll have in that home.
It could fit up to 3 people.
1 bedroom for 3 people.
Yes.
So potentially 6 people in yourself.
No. I'm by myself.
I understand, but you said you have 3 people per bedroom?
No. 3 people. It can fit 3 people downstairs. So I'm probably thinking maybe a family.
Okay,
If they're
so
traveling
you-
with their family.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm confused, please forgive me, and I apologize.
No problem.
I'm just trying to get clarification for myself. So initially, when we asked what type of persons that you would be providing this rental to, you had said professionals, so
Professionals,
traveling
yeah.
nurses.
Yes.
In my understanding, traveling nurses don't bring their family with them. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand, because I just need knowledge, right? So can you clarify for me that what type of persons are you having in this home?
It's going to be professionals. Only.
So no family?
No family.
Okay, and so in these homes of the 2 bedrooms that you're going to provide, how many people are you going to have per bedroom?
It would seat 1 or 2.
So 1 to 2 persons
1
in
to
each
2
bedroom?
person. Yeah.
I have no further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Planning and Zoning Board?
Yes, I have a couple of
Okay,
questions.
Frank?
The kitchen arrangement, will they have access to a kitchen? Or I know you said you have a basement. Is there a kitchen in the basement that they would utilize, or would they use the main kitchen that you use? Is it separate?
We have a kitchenette for them downstairs, because it's gonna be private.
It's private?
Yeah.
Okay. What about-
They will not have access to my.
How about an entrance? Do they have a separate entrance?
They do have a separate entrance.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Everything downstairs is private. They will have their own entrance and their own parking.
Okay. All right, no further questions. Thank you.
Anything else, Planning and Zoning Board? Hearing none, Madam Chairman, I'll throw it to the Board of Commissioners for questions.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, at this time, do we have any questions for the applicant or the staff? I see District 3 Commissioner Martin Maxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. For the first question is for staff, so you can have a seat real quick to the applicant. So just want to get any updates or any code enforcement issues, any police activity, public safety issues, anything that is on the record that we're aware of.
No, sir, we did not receive anything in the impact statements in regard to police activity or code enforcement issues for this property.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, to the applicant. So you heard the concerns of the residents.
Yes, I did.
I'm not hearing anyone in favor.
Yes.
That's a concern. And we want to keep the community, and we're hearing it over, a nice, quiet, safe community. So with renters or short-term renters, professionals, how will you ensure that that's maintained?
The house is covered by CCTV, which is also connected to the police line.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
The house is covered by CCTV, and in case of an emergency, the line does go straight to the police.
Okay.
So they will be alerted on instance.
Okay, how about in regards to noise?
Regards to noise, I
visitors?
will be in the property, and I will be controlling that, plus I'll also be having guided rules.
Okay. Well, where the house is situated and located, again, we've talked about the hill and the site issue of going from one side or driving down that street there. Will there be parking on the street at all?
No, the parking will be on the premises.
Okay, you said that you can accommodate up to
4 cars, because the garage is also open. So plus the garage, you can get up to 6.
Okay, 6, okay, I just want to start over. How many cars will you have on the facility at any one time?
4.
Okay, so not 6.
With the garage, because the garage is open.
Okay, so you can accommodate 3 individuals, so how do we get to 6 cars?
No, I'm just saying how much parking that the premises can take up.
Okay, how would this be advertised? How will you advertise for renters?
It will be only for professionals who are traveling.
How would it be advertised? Who are you going to market it to? What is your marketing mechanism?
I would say we will use a platform that's already available, and through the app, we will only be targeting professionals who are traveling, doctors, nurses, and that's it.
Okay, you said that you have not spoken to the homeowners association, any the board, the president, or anyone, so they are not even aware of this. Is that correct?
True.
All right, Madam Chair, you have the floor back.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Maxton. Commissioner Kenneth Jones, you have the floor.
Which app are you intending to advertise this on?
It's called.
Have you ever?
Ivy.
It's called what?
It's called Ivy League. Ivy League. Is it Ivy League?
Ivy League.
Ivy Grade.
Have you ever run a short-term rental business anywhere else?
No, this will be the first time.
And so hate to ask you redundant questions, but I am just as confused as my colleagues.
Yes.
So I'm envisioning that your house has 2-car garage.
Yes, it does.
You are intending to use the 2-car garage for your vehicles?
I have 1 car.
So are you intending to allow the short-term rental to also use a bay in the garage, or is that storage? Is there going to be a vehicle in
They
there?
will be using the bay, the parking lot, well, the parking,
Will the renters be parking in your garage?
not in the garage,
So all of their parking is going to be on the driveway?
on the driveway.
Up to 4 individuals?
Yes.
Or up to 4 vehicles?
Yes,
And you're only renting out 2 bedrooms?
yes.
How many people are you intending to have in each bedroom?
2,
So a total of 4 individuals at any given time will be in this short-term rental?
no, just 2 individuals.
So 2 humans, will
Yes.
1 in each room?
Yes.
Why would they have 4 cars?
No, I beg to, I'm saying, if, let's say you're traveling with your partner, you'll be able to
But as
rent.
my
But if you
colleague
can
on
get-
planning and zoning stated, most traveling nurses, traveling
Travel by
doctors,
themselves.
people from public health, business individuals, if they are staying in a short-term rental or they're traveling for work, they are not traveling with their families.
True,
So do you have any experience in that field at all?
yes.
What is your experience in running a short-term rental for professionals?
My spouse has done it, and she's not here with me, so I can't give much a tale to it, but she has done it.
I will just state for purposes of the record, my experience when professionals are doing short-term rentals, that they are either renting out for a specified period of time
Yes,
a residence, and they are the only occupiers of that residence, or they have rented in a roommate-style situation with the other nurse or the other doctor, but again, they are the only inhabitants of that residence during that period of time. So I don't know that this particular neighborhood is conducive to that. I also don't know how it's not going to be an issue of street parking. If you are parked in the garage, but there are 4 cars on the driveway and you're moving vehicles so that people can get out, ingress and egress, I don't know how that's not disruptive to your neighbors in the neighborhood. But with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Kenner Jones. Commissioner Braxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. So I think earlier we're hearing, or what we were led to believe, that you were the only one living in the house now.
I am,
But then you said that your spouse.
yes.
So how many people are living in the house now?
But just me. My spouse lives, when she travels too for work, so she comes and goes.
Okay, let me ask it this way.
Yes, sir.
Is this your spouse's primary residence?
No, we have 2 residents.
Okay, but your spouse is with you from time to time at this residence?
Yes,
Okay, so it's safe to assume that 2 individuals live in the residence at any point in time?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Braxton. Any other remarks, board? All right, I'll yield the floor back to you, Chairman Simmons.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. You may sit down. Planning and Zoning Board, you've heard the discussion. Do I have a motion on S 2026-56?
This is Ord Curry. I make a motion to deny agenda item S 2026-56, a special use permit to allow short-term rental located at 6123 Lacelock Lane in Douglasville.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
You have a second?
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the denial of S 2026-56, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Madam Chairman, S 2026-56 comes to the board with a unanimous recommendation for denial.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we deny S 2026-56 for special use permit.
Second.
All right. We have a motion in 2 seconds. Any discussion, board? Okay. Okay, thank you. The people have spoke, so I will go. All in favor of the denial, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote, and the motion carries for denial of S 2026-56, and I yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Appreciate the public's comments on this. Would a minute for them to exit the building. Okay, next agenda item, please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cronin.
So next agenda items are Z 2026-58 and S 2026-59. These are requests for rezoning from PUDC, Plan Unit Development with Conditions, to Light Industrial and a special use permit to allow a contractor's office with outdoor storage and equipment rental at 1340 North County Line Road. Lot is 3.6 acres. This is in Commission District Number 1. A 5,226 square foot warehouse office building built in 1987 is sited, with accessory non-residential buildings also constructed. Outdoor storage has been in reserved use on the property since at least 1993 per available historic aerials. The property is across the street from the ongoing quarry operations. The quarry operations could continue operating for an indefinite period of time, maybe exceeding 5 to 10 years. The Groovers Lake development has not developed to its full potential, but this may be owed to environmental concerns such as subsurface granite, state waters, and the like. At present, the lot does not abut residential development. The applicant's requesting the rezoning to light industrial to sever connection from the subject site that it may have had with the current Groovers Lake development, a residential plan unit development. A special use permits requested for the outdoor storage that's been historically observed on the site to entitle that. In 2010, the Unified Development Code was amended to require a special use permit for outdoor storage for commercial industrial districts. Entitling the outdoor storage is recommended to establish a clear date of approval and to bring the site up to current UDC standards. The property was rezoned to industrial designation in 1985 and then rezoned as a part of the overall Groovers Lake Plan Unit development. The building was built in 1987, and the property appears to have been used industrially with occasional site modification, but without ceasing, for a period of 6 months or greater. We've included an aerial. You can see from the smaller picture that the site is next to the quarry right across the street, and we've included a street view image of what the property looks like now. The applicants are not proposing modification to the building. They're instead wishing to entitle the outdoor storage use within the lot proper. Staff's recommending approval of the rezoning request based upon the following findings. Number 1, the rezoning will not represent an incompatible zoning district along this section of North County Line Road. And number 2, the rezoning and special use will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare. Staff's recommending approval with conditions of the special use permit based upon the following findings. Number 1, the special use permit would entitle the historic outdoor storage use on the property and bring the site up to current Douglas County standards. Number 2, the special use permit will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. Staff's recommending the following conditions on the special use permit. Number 1, the applicant shall prepare a site plan that adequately defines the limits of the outdoor storage area, subject to side and rear setbacks of 25 feet. All outstanding agency impact statements, impact review comments, as well as additional comments discussed at the Development Review Committee on July 8th, 2026, included as a part of the staff report, shall be incorporated. Number 2, an opaque imitation wood, vinyl, polymer, or composite-based material fence shall be used to screen the limits of the outdoor storage from the right-of-way of North County Line Road. A landscape plan shall be submitted and include a 10-foot landscape strip adjacent to North County Line Road to include a minimum of 1 tree unit and 10 shrubs required for every 60 linear feet of road frontage. Sufficiency of screening shall be at the discretion of the Douglas County Arborist. And that concludes my presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cronin. At this point in time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone, including the applicant, who would like to speak in favor, please approach the podium. If you would state your name and address for the record, and then 2 minutes, sir.
Drew Southard, 784 Penn Avenue. Speaking in favor of the rezoning from PDC to light industrial with a special use permit for outdoor storage. Our request is not to introduce any use, just to align the property zoning with the use that's been on the site for the past 30 years. We've completed multiple projects in Douglas County, each time purchasing a property, investing in improvements and bringing it into full compliance with the county code. We bought strong regional tenants to the area that's contributed to the economic growth and helped contribute to the surrounding community as well. Again, these projects have brought jobs and tax revenue to Douglas County, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with you guys and investing in the community and helping the county grow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. While you're here, the conditions that were read into the record, are you in agreement with those?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Seeing no one moving, I'll close the public hearing in favor and open the public hearing in opposition. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Again, seeing no one moving, I'll close the public hearing on this matter. Planning and Zoning Board, do you have any questions of the applicant or of staff?
Yes, I do. I have a question for the applicant. Hi. I wanted to just get a little bit of clarification just for, so when it's outdoor storage, can you kind of tell me a little bit about what you're going to be storing in that?
Yeah, so there's tenants on there right now that are just storing their materials for their business and like some trucks. We don't really plan on doing anything more intensive than that. We plan to keep them in the property, honestly.
When you say materials, are there any like materials, you know, gas or anything like that that's going to harm
nothing
the
harmful.
environment?
No.
Okay.
Just simple, like it could be PVC pipes.
I see.
Something along those lines.
Okay. And then lastly, when it talked about the equipment rental, so you have items on that property that you will rent out to persons, correct?
That would be for right now with the tenants. No, that would just be like a blanket. It was more so with the blanket statement of just outdoor storage. As of right now, with the existing tenants, not right now. No.
Okay. Thank you. I have a question for staff.
Yes, ma'am.
With the blanket statement of not right now, in regard to the types of equipment rental that's going to be on this property, if this is approved, how do we safeguard ourselves of saying, wanting to know what type of equipment? May I ask that?
So, yes, absolutely. I think that when the requirement to come to the Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Commissioners for the special use permit for the outdoor storage does give sort of a blanket approval for anything that would fall under our qualifications of outdoor storage going forward. As Austin had said in his report, this was something that was put on the books, I think, around 2010 to make sure that we had a better sense of what that was going to be. Once entitled, as long as the use does not discontinue for a period of 6 months or more, that special use permit is deemed to run with the property when it comes to non-residential property. So again, in this instance, you would be giving this property to permission to continue to operate. The tenants may come and go, but they would have permission to do outdoor storage in the future of the property. If your concern is about like hazardous materials and things like that, there is a separate part of the code that regulates that, and then we do work through our fire department and our EMA to make sure that they know where those materials are in the county. So that's a totally separate process from zoning, but there is a way that we keep an eye on where potentially hazardous materials are stored, and that I think it's under Article 3, Section 303 of the code that provides a list of what all of those hazardous materials are. But otherwise, as he had indicated, if it's going to be like a equipment rental, that would be something that would be allowed under outdoor storage in a light industrial. If it's contractor supply materials, things of that nature, all of that would be fair game for any use going forward within the light industrial.
Understand. Thank you.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
no further questions.
Any other questions, Planning and Zoning?
I have a question for the applicant. Okay, right now it's already a storage on there.
Correct.
So you're just going to be sprucing it up and adding some extra?
Yes, making some cosmetic improvements and then fitting the conditions of screening it off, doing the landscape strip, and the invitational vining fence.
Okay, so parking, how is your parking and how is your security going to be brought into this plan?
The fence will be, or the site will be fully secured. Parking is there as well in the front of the building, we'll fully secure the building.
Is the storage facility you have, is it temperature controlled or is no temperature control?
I believe the interior of the building is temperature controlled.
Okay, so it's going to be temperature controlled.
And there won't be like any storage necessarily in the building when it comes to like fire.
Okay.
Or anything like that.
Okay, will you store things like RVs, boats, stuff like that in the facility?
More than likely now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Again, just to clarify, the outdoor storage isn't anything related to like a mini storage unit.
Okay.
Right? So if we kind of look at the aerial here, you can see the existing buildings that are there on the property. There is a cell tower to the rear that is not part of the subject property. And then you see kind of the area south of the buildings. That's basically open area that they're using for a combination of parking and outdoor storage. So this is what the building looks like from the road. That's that existing kind of office building. on the property, but otherwise, that's the primary structure on the property. And then if you see kind of to the right of that image, that's the open area that they would be using for outdoor storage. So things like boat storage, recreational vehicles, that is only an accessory use to a mini warehouse.
Okay.
And a mini warehouse is required under separate special use permit. That is not being contemplated at this time, so it couldn't just become outdoor storage for those kinds of vehicles.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. So I have no further questions after that. Thank you.
Any other questions, Planning and Zoning Board? Hearing none, Madam Chairman, throw it to the Board of Commissioners for your questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Okay, no questions. I yield the
No
floor back to
question.
you.
Thank you very much. Planning and Zoning Board. We have two items here. First is the request for rezoning, Z 2026-58. Do I have a motion?
This is Melissa Polk. I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item Z 2026-58 for the rezoning from PUDC to a light industrial.
Thank you very much. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Or Curry, second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor of approving Z 2026-58, the rezoning from planned urban development to light industrial, please signify by raising your hands. Thank you very much. Madam Chairman, Z 2026-58 comes to you with a unanimous recommendation for approval.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve agenda item Z 2026-58.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, and I yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Planning and Zoning Board, I need a motion on the special use permit S 2026-59 with the conditions, please.
This is Melissa Polk. I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item S 2026-59 as a special use permit to allow contractor's office with outdoor storage and equipment rental.
Conditions.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, with the conditions listed.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving S 2026-59 with special use permit with conditions, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. That's unanimous, Madam Chairman. S 2026-59 comes to the board. Unanimous recommendation for approval with condition.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve agenda item S 2026-59 with the conditions as read in by staff.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, and I yield the floor back to you, Chairman Simmons.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Best of luck to you. Thank you. Next agenda item, Mr. Cronin.
Yes, sir. So our last agenda item is S 2026-60. This is a request for a special use permit to allow a contractor's office and storage yard at 13180 Veterans Memorial Highway. The lot is 1 acre. This is in Commission District Number 4. The lot is currently vacant and wooded and approximately 1 acre. The applicant's proposing a contractor's office with outdoor storage. The business is intended to be a tank cleaning business, and the applicant's here to speak more about the nature of the business. The lot's currently vacant, so a 4,000 square foot warehouse and office building is proposed. Outdoor storage is proposed to be located behind the architectural front of the proposed building, and perimeter fencing is proposed as well. Outdoor storage is common use along this section of Veterans Memorial Highway. It's predominantly industrial in nature across from the quarry on the western side of the county. The previous zoning case that would have rezoned this property to light industrial did anticipate outdoor storage. However, there was no entitlement of the outdoor storage proper. The property is constrained given its small acreage and abutment to the Norfolk Southern Railroad to the north. However, small-scale, contractor-oriented uses may be appropriate at this location, provided the off-site impacts are mitigated and elevations are held to a certain standard that would not be of a lower quality than what currently exists along Veterans Memorial Highway on this section. From the site aerial, it's located across from the quarry. The Norfolk Southern Railroad abuts it to the north, and we've included this site plan as well with a 4,000 square foot building, interparcel access with the existing driveway cut for the existing business on the right side. And staff is recommending approval with conditions of the special use permit based upon the following findings. Number 1, the use will not modify the intent, purpose, or spirit of the comprehensive plan. Number 2, the use will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. Staff is proposing the following conditions. Number 1, the applicant shall prepare a site plan that adequately defines the limits of the outdoor storage area subject to side and rear setbacks of 25 feet. All outstanding agency impact statements, review comments, as well as additional comments discussed in the Development Review Committee on July 1st, 2026, included as part of the staff report, shall be incorporated. Number 2, an opaque imitation wood, vinyl, polymer, or composite-based material fence shall be used to screen the limits of the outdoor storage from the right-of-way of Veterans Memorial Highway. A landscape plan shall be submitted within the land disturbance permit and shall include a 25-foot landscape strip adjacent to Veterans Memorial Highway to include a minimum of 3 canopy trees, 3 understory trees, 2 evergreen trees, and 18 shrubs every 100 foot of linear strip. If, in the event of conflict with the existing utilities along Veterans Memorial Highway, and generally, sufficiency of screening shall be at the discretion of the Douglas County Arborist. Number 3, the building shall be constructed with front-facing facades having 80% traditional masonry. The Director of Development Services shall have discretion to modify the ratio no less than 50% traditional masonry if it's determined that additional landscape plantings can be provided along view sheds where modification is proposed. And that concludes my presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cronin. At this point in time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application, including the applicant or the applicant's representative, please approach the podium. You have 2 minutes, total allocated time of 15. If you'd state your name and address for the record, and then 2 minutes.
Yes, my name's Travis Kelly. Address is 5265 Bluestone Circle, Mableton, Georgia. I'm actually a Douglas County native, didn't grow up here, but grandparents actually had a house on Big A Road, and it's kind of crazy how it kind of brings you back, I guess. But me and my wife started this business going on 6 years, and we've grown exponentially, and it's getting kind of tough, basically operating from a 30-foot by 50-foot place in a gravel lot where there's nothing to work under. So we actually found this property. Well, a friend of mine found it, and I was like, well, I mean, this looks perfect. It's right across from the quarry, and those are my customers. I help fleets run better fuel quality. Essentially, I've actually cleaned Douglas County's schools tanks at I think Alexander High School a couple years ago. So I'm just looking to move in and definitely improve the acre there. I would like to put up a pretty tall American flag, if possible. I don't know if y'all have to approve that or not, but yeah, that's I guess that's about it. And if you want to know about the tank cleaning business, I mean, just ask me. But yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll ask you about that shortly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Seeing no one moving, I'll close the public hearing in favor and open the public hearing in opposition. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one moving, I will close the public hearing on this matter. Planning and Zoning Board, do you have any questions of the applicant or of staff?
Yes, I have a question for the applicant.
Jeff said, don't go too far.
Hi. So just, I guess in a condensed, like, I'm a little uneducated on the process of what you're doing. So when you're talking about, draining and tanks and things of that nature, can you please elaborate on what type of tanks, right? Is it gas? Is it, sewage, and that type of thing? And also in that description that you're giving us, can you tell me what you do with what you drain? Like what's your disposable process?
Sure. So gas stations, Douglas County schools, you've got underground tanks, you have above ground tanks. Both of them will get water in them. And then above ground tanks will condensate essentially from thermal expansion as well. And then also customers will get water from the fuel farm, which comes from the fuel companies that are actually delivering the fuel. So like for gas stations, for instance, if they have more than 1 inch of water in their gas tank, they can't get a fuel drop because it'll mess your car up. I mean, they have insurance to pay for it if it ever happens, just FYI. But so that has to come out of the tank. Water's heavier than petroleum, gas, and diesel, so it sits at the bottom. We get that water out. So that is considered petroleum contact water that has been non-hazardous since the late 70s.
Okay.
So we take that out because it needs to come out. Your engine will not run on water. That goes into a holding tank on a trailer. And then we're proposing, I believe it was a 3,000 gallon above ground double wall tank that product will go into. And then we have a company out of Bremen that comes and gets it. And then it's all, they come and get it, when it gets to a certain level. And then they take it to Farmers Oil in Covington, Georgia. And then it's reprocessed. I've never seen that process before, but, with I do deal with gas and diesel, but it's, like I said, it's essentially water. So, yeah.
Okay, so basically you drain this, it's water, you have a reservoir, a larger reservoir on your property and what you're asking for. You have someone come and remove that from that reservoir, and then you just continue the process over.
Right.
Yes. So when you're talking about gas and diesels and all that good stuff, so in my mind I'm thinking, do you know of any environmental effects with like the smell or anything like that of the gas or anything that could disturb? I understand that you're in an industrial area, but just wanting to know is, even though you're in an industrial area, people ride up and down the streets going back and forth to their homes, their job.
Right.
Can you expound on that? Have you had any experience with that environmental effect?
No. I mean, the product goes into the tank and then it's capped off.
Okay.
So there's not, no, I haven't.
Okay. Very good. And so my last question would be, like, have it in the report or anything, you consulted the fire marshal to make certain that these items that you're storing in your reservoir could not at that point become, explosive, right? Has that ever, is that something that we should be concerned about as residents here in the county? Have you ever had that happen?
No. I mean, the fire marshal did ask me what the flash point is, and I told him, I mean, it's 95% water. So, I mean, you could actually put a fire out with it, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
okay, very good.
It's, with the code, it being petroleum contact water, PCW, it's been that way since the late 70s. You can haul thousands of gallons without any hazmat if you want, but that's not what we're doing. We're taking 50 gallons at a time, 100 gallons at a time, and I need a bigger. We have a 1,000 gallon tank now, but at another place in Cobb, but, we need a 3,000 to make it worth the oil guy that comes and gets it, so he doesn't have to keep going back and forth.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it's essentially, it's unusable water with some petroleum.
Okay,
So,
and one last thing I just want to clarify. So of the items that you're draining, it is not human feces or urinations, or you're not doing sewage?
unless it was in the tank. I don't know.
Gotcha. Very good. Thank you so much. No further questions.
Any other questions, Planning and Zoning Board?
I was just curious, how long you been doing this?
So I've been in the fuel quality business for over 12 years. I worked for an oil company out in Texas. Started treating diesel mainly, started testing it, started figuring out that there was an issue with it. So at my height with that company, I treated over 6 million gallons of fuel, Fulton County Schools, Atlanta Public Schools, Paulding, Carroll, Jackson County, Cisco Foods, just a whole bunch. And then I found that there was a problem with the, this bacteria kept coming back. And then so started doing some research and told my wife in 2020, I was like, I think we should do this. And went down to Jacksonville and met with a guy that was doing it, and I called her and I said, we're buying a trailer. So I bought my first trailer coming back from in Douglas, Georgia during COVID, and now I have 2 full-time employees, 2 part-time guys that work on the weekend. Right now we're doing Grady Hospital. We're doing all their fuel cleaning. They have 160,000 gallons of fuel on property. You wouldn't know it, but it's at the steam plant. So clean fuel strategies, 6 years, but knowing about fuel quality and all that, 12.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other don't go away. You heard the conditions that were read into the record. Are you in agreement with those conditions?
Yes, there's just, I probably should have brought it up to Austin first. And sorry, I don't understand some of the jargon when I read it. Basically, I mean, my intentions are to beautify the front that's facing Veterans Memorial, and to make sure if you're coming east or west, you can't, and the only thing I have, like I said, the tank would be in the back, and we just have trucks and trailers. That's essentially what we have. There's no like pipes or anything or storage. Everything is confined on the trailer. So my question is the guy east of me with the plumbing supply place, he already has a strip of trees, big like cypress trees. If I make sure if you're coming east and west and you can't see into the property, do I still have to put a vinyl fence down that strip? Because spending that type of money on a vinyl fence with a tree growing out, it's just going to push it out. I'm sorry, I should have brought it up to you before.
That would probably be something that would be handled in DRC.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I didn't want to agree to a condition before I brought it up. But I guess, yeah.
You still have to go before DRC and work out the final
Okay, just
plats
on the
and
back
plans.
end. You just work out, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I was thinking.
And if there's any problem,
All
then
right.
you come back here, but
Yeah.
usually
yeah,
that's
I don't
worked
think that'll
out.
be a problem. Yes, I agree to the
Okay.
conditions.
Thank you very much. If you
Okay.
would stand by, I imagine the commissioners will go have something.
Okay.
I have a question of Austin. When we talk about the fencing, we're talking about building a building and putting fencing adjacent to the building and then in the back? Or are we talking about fencing along the front road frontage?
So really just along the outdoor storage as indicated in the darker shade of gray on the site plan.
Yeah.
That would be the only place that fencing is required. If you wanted to do incidental perimeter fencing, it could be a type that would be, it could be like decorative aluminum or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's just what I didn't want is fencing in the front. I mean, you got a nice building,
Yeah.
landscaping.
When we talked on the Wednesday with the DRC, I mean, I envision, bricks with like white, I guess, white picket fence, kind of just like this. And also the property also sits up higher than Veterans. It kind of goes like that. It's probably about 8 foot from Veterans. So, I mean, whatever I need to do to make it right. So.
Okay, I just didn't want to lock you into a 6, 8 foot fence in front.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Madam Chairman, I throw the Board of Commissioners for questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you.
Any questions? Vice Chair, you have the floor.
You got the neighbor to the residential house to the west.
Yeah.
How loud is anything, when you're working in your yard or anything like that, just give me an explanation about how loud or how much to anticipate that neighbor is going to hear while
So,
you're working.
I'll just run you through a typical day.
In a short narrative.
Yeah, no, of course. No, typically we get there at 7, we load up and leave. So it's basically cranking up a truck and leaving in the morning. And then when we get back, I've got a guy that lives in Noonan, so he's got 3 kids, so we try to be back at 4. When we offload, we do have to crank up an air compressor. It's pretty quiet. It's a diesel. It's not a gas burner. And so if we're offloading 50 gallons, it may take 5 minutes. If we're offloading 200 gallons, it may take 10 minutes, essentially. So that machine on the back of the truck would be on for 5 to 10 minutes. And that's usually at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a nice bamboo fence that blocks, I'm sure is going to block a lot of noise as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not we have neighbors at our current yard, and we're very mindful of, the time slots and, not too late. I don't want to work too late. Nobody really does. So we try to schedule things to be back home with our families essentially every day, not too late. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all I had, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Any other questions? All right, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you very much. You may have a seat.
Okay.
Planning and Zoning Board, you've heard the discussion. Do I have a motion on S 2026-60?
This is Frank Payne. I make a motion to approve S 2026-60, a request for a special use permit to allow a contractor's office and yard located at 13180 Veteran Memorial Highway, Douglasville.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
with the
With the condition.
conditions.
Board Curry, second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving S 2026-60, special use permit with the conditions read in, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. That's also unanimous. Madam Chairman, S 2026-60 comes to the board with a unanimous recommendation for approval with the conditions.
Thank you so much, Chairman Simmons. Board of Commissioners, you've heard all the questions and answers. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve S 2026-60 with all the recommendations put in by staff.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote and the motion carries. And I yield the floor back to you. Or you have
Just one.
one.
Welcome to District 4, and thank you for bringing your business to Douglas County.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Also from us, welcome and good luck to you.
Yes.
Planning and Zoning Board, we have nothing else to come before this board. I will declare Planning and Zoning Board adjourned. Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 4 unanimous vote to adjourn this meeting. I thank you, Board of Commissioners, and have a great night, the citizens of Douglas County. Thank you.
Oh, wow.